Safe guys, Formula here. It's been a while. I've not done any videos in a long time because I've been focusing on my music and stuff, but I'm back. I've got a new video. As usual, it's to promote one of my new packs. However, it is a tutorial that I've seen popping up quite a lot on my YouTube comments, just about, oh, foghorn this, plucky lead and bass that. So we've got here the demo for the pack, and I'm basically going to go through the patches in Serum to sort of show you what, how I made them and what sort of post-processing you should use to get the sounds really like angry and mad. It's to promote my analog sample pack, which will be linked in the description below for all of these presets, so you don't have to do any of the work. And yeah, so let's just get straight into it. I'll show you the demo first. So if you've not already heard it, this is what it sounds like. So all four of these sounds are in the pack. Some of them require post-processing, like I said before, some of them don't. The 808 is not in the pack, just because it's got a lot of post on it and it was complicated. But yeah, let's get into the first sound. So it's sort of a Serum. It's basically just like an FM, just like a super simple FM bass kind of thing, but it's not really a bass, it's a lead. This is what we're working with here. So you've got a sine wave, normal sine wave, pretty much nothing changes on this. This is one of the more simple patches in the pack, but what you get is quite a nice analogy sound out of it. And then we've got the harmonic series on oscillator B, about wave table position 6, and then the filter's kind of doing a lot of the work with regards to the sounds, like sharpness, using the resonance on the filter and the cutoff here. You can basically fine tune a certain part of the sound. So I'll hold that down. The more you turn that up, it needs to be on B as well. It's kind of like a flute sort of sound, because basically that high resonance is making that sort of whistling effect. But that's kind of it really. And then I added some noise just because it's sort of, this pack was trying to emulate the sort of sounds that you can make on analog. Nothing on the effects, because what you can do with this is if you use hella post, like what you've got here. I've got 3 camel crushers, a little bit of reverb, a tuner, just for when I'm doing some, if something's out of key or tune, you can get it perfect so that this, like whilst you're doing the sound design, you might be pressing your E note on your keyboard, but the sound that's coming out of it is F sharp. So you've got to then go back into Serum or whatever you're using, looking at that tuner, and basically fine tune it so that it's perfect. And so you can get some pretty cool sounds just out of this patch, even without, just by itself. And then with some distortion, with some sub, just kind of like like a new school jump up sort of bass lead. So that's that bass. It's called Dial Up in the pack. Then we got this one, which is one of my favourites. So that's quite a typical analog sort of sound of like real overdrive and distortion, which is pretty much all this host here. The pack does not come with the post chain because I realise that a lot of you won't have Camel Crusher. But if you go get Camel Crusher, literally just slap 3 Camel Crushers or however many you want onto it, and then take the low end out a little bit so that there's no mud. So we'll go into this patch. I'm kind of just briefly running through all of these because I don't want the video to be really, really long. So this one needs post. It's got the exact same technique as before, so we're really playing with the resonance to get a sharp sound. And then, yeah, using the bottle blow twice. I kind of just mucked around with this until I got a cool sound out of it, but that's what it sounds like without post. I didn't realise I actually turned it off, yeah. So the post is doing all the work really there. This is sort of just like the foundation of the patch, which is kind of how you really should be sound designing if you want to go for that old school sort of sound, which is literally what a normal analog synth does. You know, you're setting 2 sine waves and then you're playing with the tune. That's pretty much it. And then the rest of it is all just within the post. So the overdrive, I'm just looking at my synth, you know, the envelope, the noise, all that stuff, resonance and filters, all that stuff. So yeah, so you've got the sync is up 5.9%. The wavetable position on oscillator A is all the way up. The fine tune is at -100 on oscillator A and is at 100 on oscillator B. Again, the wavetable position is at full, so 256. And there's nothing on this, but you could, in theory, play around with some FM basing and sort of just, if you route it to A, you might get some really cool analog, sort of, not really analog, but some crazy angry sounds. Then we've got some effects going on here. So we've got a distortion, which is adding a bit more in-house distortion to it, which then obviously gets totally overthrown by the post in Ableton. So that's pretty much the same. As soon as you drag it in, it'll probably look like this. Just turn the drive up to about 93%. The EQ here, we've got a lot of the low end has already been taken out of it because it's quite muddy, because you've got this sort of misshapen sine wave there, which is out of time or out of tune with oscillator A. And then you've also got a sub, which is actually skipping all of that, so that you've still got the underlying sub value without messing with these 2 oscillators. The thing is with Vital, you can have multiple oscillators on the one page, which would be really sick if Serum had, but it doesn't. So that's why Vital's doing quite good at the minute, and it's also just quite a sick synth. So then we've just got a compressor as the last thing that's going on here. Obviously, if you wanted to copy all of this now, you can go for it. I just realised I didn't actually speak about it, but God, these videos are so like just off the cuff, isn't it? Right, the compressor is looking like this. I don't think I really changed anything apart from maybe the mix, volume, and the gain. So yeah, that's that sound. So we can move on to the next one, which I think is the voltage style bass. Yeah. Right, this one is quite basic, I think. Yeah, okay, so we've got oscillator A is the acid wavetable, which can be found right here, second down on the analog page. We've taken that down 2 octaves, and we've put the wavetable position at 170. The FM is at 4, because I believe it's, yeah, so the FM, leave it at around 4%, because you're going to use LFO2 or LFO1, whatever, you know, whatever you want, to automate the FM, so you get that sort of sound. Oscillator B is basic shapes with sync window all the way down, so you probably don't actually even need to have it on at all, and the level all the way to 0, so that basically you're not getting any bleed from oscillator B. And then the filter is using LFO1. You're gonna sort of create whatever shape tickles your fancy, and pop that on the cutoff, and don't put it all the way up, because what you end up getting just a little bit too much high. I've noticed that a lot of voltages basses don't go all the way up. They're quite dark and scary. Oh, don't sneeze. Okay, no. Jesus. Sorry. I've been waiting for that to happen since I started the video. Right, and then there's a little mod here on the side, macro. I basically put this in here because using the resonance again, you can get some quite interesting little variations of this sound. Quite squelchy. So that's just it's quite a nice little thing to use if you're doing like a rolling bass line with this sound, and you want it to sort of in like the last four, let's say, change. You can use that macro to sort of make it squelch all the way up and then bring it back down and have it come back in normally. So the sub is at -1, direct out, because I believe we have some effects going on here. It's pretty much exactly the same as the other patch. You've got the drive is pretty much all the way up, and then the EQ, it's a low cut EQ, getting rid of all the low ends so that you can use an external sub to carry the sound. It gives you a bit more freedom, I've found, using a separate sub, because it means you can really crank all of the high out of that one patch and not have any mud within the one channel. So that's sort of a voltagey bass. And then the last track, or the last sound in the demo, is the duttered one. This has post on it. Again, it's exactly the same as the other one, just with complete low cut. Yeah, so this one's a bit more complicated. There's not really a lot going on, but there's still a noticeable amount. So we've got the level, and that's just it really, because I turned that off. The level's being controlled on oscillator B by LFO3, up to, what is it, like 60? Yeah, so 60%. So you leave that. I don't know why I've started this backwards. Oscillator A is the digital FFT wavetable here, all the way up, and then the detune is turned all the way down, the blend all the way down, the phase all the way down, and the random all the way up. And the same for oscillator B. You're going to want to take oscillator A down 2 octaves, leave oscillator B down at 1, and then push the semitone up to 7, because that sort of gives you like a stacked sort of sound, like it's basically like a chord really. And then again, a lot of the work on this sound is coming through the filter here. So without the filter, still quite a cool sound, but I think with this filter you get a very distinguished single sound. So what you're going to want to do for this is, where is this actually being modulated from? Is it on? Oh no, it's not being modulated at all. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is get the cutoff, whack that at 715 Hertz, the resonance all the way up, which I don't really do often, fatness all the way up, the drive all the way down. You can put the drive up, but what ends up happening is you get a bit muddy, so I just leave it down. But obviously, you know, again, personal preference. If you wanted to have it, you know, really get quite angry, then you could like and bring it back down. So that's what's basically happening on this front page. We'll go to the back. It's quite basic. You've got a hyper dimension here, and you've got a bandpass filter here on the EQ, and then the compressor is sitting at 77, and the gain at 7.5 dB. Threshold is all the way down, ratio all the way down, attacks at 90, and the release is at 0.1. So that's the those are the 4 sounds in the demo. I will quickly go through some of the sounds in the pack. But all of the techniques in this sample pack can be used across any sound design you do. So I would encourage you to sort of use, you know, the resonance trick or the sync trick and resonance, and doing that sort of stuff to try and give yourself some quite angry sounds. Where is this pack? It is here. Let's go from dial up. So we've got a wobble sound. I was going to put it in the demo, but I couldn't actually work it into the drums because it doesn't really work with the drums that I've made. So if you're a fan of, you know, Serum, for example, this is pretty much the exact sound. It's really basic sound, but it's quite a classic sound as well. So that's why I think people like it quite a lot. It's got like a voltagey sort of sound here. See if I can add a sub to it. Let me just sort this sub out. Again, all of these patches are basically made to be used with post or without post. It's kind of your job to sort of play around with that, because I don't like force feeding, or not force feeding, I don't like spoon feeding you guys. I feel like experimentation is the best way to get unique sounds and stuff. So we've already heard Bost. Let's go to and Dutter. So let's go Stomped Out. Is that one? Another wobble. And then quite a simple patch again, and I think that's it. Yeah, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Get my pack if you want to, obviously. If not, you know, go through the video and you can learn kind of quickly off how to make these sort of sounds. Let me know in the comments if you want any particular sounds to be done. I'm going to try and get back on that again. The main reason I've been making these packs is because I get multiple people saying sort of similar names within one genre bracket, so I thought, well, I may as well make a pack and then cover it all. So yeah, but this is, again, I'll quickly play the demo. That's got the distortion on it. Still sounds quite cool. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching the video. I know it's been a while. I need to get back on top of doing these YouTube videos. So yeah, thank you very much, and I'll catch you lot in a bit. Safe.